Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Elisa Maria Designs. I am Elisa Maria. Welcome back if you're back, and welcome if you're new. We are happy to have you. I am all abuzz because, well, it's summer with the Masters for one thing, and I will be filling in ABs for you on my kit, Night's Rest. So I finished the border of this painting, the top and the sides of this very elaborate muka. It's done. I should really spread this out, huh? But I want to be working this way. Maybe I'll put you guys that way. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you guys that way. She was rolled up because, she's getting heavy. And the more that I diamond paint her, she is getting heavy, and she's getting heavy to hang, and she's falling off the clips. I had 2 clips holding her up, then I had 3. Now I have 4 holding her up. So we'll do it this way so you guys can see what I'm going to be placing here, which is going to be all these green and pink and white ABs. Let's take this off, but I'll tell you why I am a buzz. I am a buzz because I was, doing my cleaning upstairs, getting done, and I said, okay, it's almost time to go downstairs and do my videotaping. Don't ask me what I'm doing here. This is what happens when you meander underneath the line, because you're like, oh, I have this out, let me just do it. So I have a juicy cup of Earl Grey tea with some lemon and some agave in there. And I had to take a sip of that because when I came down to do this, waiting for me on my top step was a delivery from Dreamer Design, and they finished my custom kit. And let me tell you, when you see this, you're gonna lose your mind. I filmed it. However, is there anything in here? No. I am going to probably air it on Monday because I want to do the kit up. And I was so excited, I forgot the artist's last name. I mean, I know it began with a Q, but I've never heard of him before. And probably I'm going to be kicking myself when I actually do the, I always give you guys some information on what I'm working on, why I chose that painting, what I loved about it, what's speaking to me, because I think that that's an important part of art, what draws you to art. And it's a way of even discovering who you are and what you value, and man's quest for understanding begins with art. You can learn a lot about what was going on anytime in our country's history or another country's history by the art that was being reproduced at that time. So I think it's really interesting to talk about the artist, talk about their life, talk about their method and process, and I will be giving you all that information. So we're going to be putting the greens in. And I just took this piece of, because this is going to drive me crazy if it moves around. I'm not going to do that. So I had my tea. I was all ready to sit down and start filming. And I happened to look out the door, and right on the top step behind my storm door, I was like, what is that? What I'm doing here is just spraying some water. I do this on the part that's covered. I'm spraying on the plastic. I'm not spraying on the canvas. And I use that as my pickup for my ABs. And I'm like, what is that behind the door? And I was like, oh no, I know what it is. It's Dreamer Design. It's my custom kit. And she is a beauty. She's a beauty. I can't wait for you guys to meet her. I'm going to just use my I call this a cross between a putty and a wax, and this is by Dreamer Design. I actually have some here. Dreamer Design makes a really nice wax. I always call it between a wax and a putty because to me it is. It's not like any wax I've ever used. It's a little bit sturdier, but it's almost like a putty. And I'm also going to use my, did I just drop it? I certainly did. Didn't make it all the way to the floor. This is another piece that I get from Dreamer Design. It has a little cone on the bottom. Now you can get these combs on Amazon, but you don't even need to put anything in there. You could just pick up an AB drill with water and this, and they pick up very easily. And I will tell you, during the extreme heat that we had in Philly a few, am I on this? A few weeks ago. I think my friends in Canada are getting it now. It was so freaking hot here. Tropical heat. Like, I lived in Florida for a while, and that's what it reminded me of. And you need a really good summer in somewhere like Florida before the heat just doesn't bother you anymore. And then when it stops picking up, you just wet the tip again. But usually it'll pick up for, 7 or 8 drills. You don't want to put too much water on there, but in a very light touch, and they pick up very easily. So I love this little stylus that we get from Dreamer Design. But I'm going to use a multi-placer. So I was multi-placing drills on Rico, and well, no, I was having a live broadcast on Wednesday for Whip Wednesday. That's what was going on. And as the broadcast began, I had some notes that I wanted to make sure that I, told you guys, and I put the paper, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, on the exposed part of the canvas, and it stuck to the canvas. And I'm just talking like nothing's going on. I didn't want to make a big deal about it. However, by the end of the broadcast, thank God I had I was able to just jump into another part of the canvas that wasn't done, that I just didn't want to start there. I wanted to start where I wanted to start, and I was like, okay, just, remain calm. Just go to the other side of the canvas. People are coming on, say hello. They're just popping in, and, just take your time. But towards the end of the broadcast, we had talked about so much stuff. By the end of the broadcast, it was like an hour and a half, maybe even a little bit longer. I was like, well, guys, I guess I can tell you that when this broadcast started, my papers were stuck to the canvas, and I think Canadian Diamond Dot Witch was the only one still here in the chat with me, and she was like, oh my God. And I said, yeah, well, I got my spray bottle here. I'm just going to soak it with some water, because water will not hurt your canvas. I'm just going to soak it with some water, which I did, and I let it sit not long, and I just started to rub the paper, and you could have saw the pulp coming up. And I did that maybe 2 or 3 times. All the pulp came up. I let the canvas dry, came back. It was even stickier than it ever was. And I just was so happy about that, because it was a beautiful flower. Then I was like, I did that section. You guys were off the air. I was off the air. You guys were gone. I did that section because it had so many ABs in this beautiful flower, tropical flower, that I moved right on over to the other side. And there was a bang at my door. Someone banged on my door like their life depended on it. And I jumped, and when I did, all the drills, about 2,000 of them, went all over the floor. My floor really, I should have just shot a music video or something, because there were just diamonds all over my hardwood floor. And now I got Foofy, so I got to watch him. He's always up in my grill with everything. That's what happened to Rico, but he survived. But I've never have asked a company to please send me something, but I did run out of drills with Crimson, and I never said anything. I don't have any water on there. And I just figured, do I get drills for Crimson and this disaster that happened? Anyway, so my kit is gorgeous. I'll tell you about that. I'm kind of sad that Summer with the Masters is ending, because I really felt like I wasn't fully participating this year. But I mean, I really was. I was getting custom kits made, not for Summer with the Masters, for my own, for my own diamond painting fetish that I have here, and that I want to support diamond painting companies. But like, I have Daydreamer by Dreamer Design, and that's by Curtis Reikovich, and I have 2 Curtis Reikovich's dolls that I have done, Crimson and Lilac, and it made me buy Daydreamer, but I just feel like I'm not into her anymore. She's like a greenish mermaid, and I'm like, where would I put this? And I haven't really seen her done on YouTube, so maybe that's also, do I have any? I have a little bit of wax in there. I don't know. So maybe, I would just do her to do her. I don't know. To give you guys an idea of what she looks like when she's done. But I just think my style of diamond painting has changed. I love Lilac. I love Crimson. But I would rather spend my time doing something like the master custom painting that I had done. I don't like wasting. I don't like not having something that I bought and that I really loved at the time that I bought it, and now it's like, you're not going to do it. You're really not going to do it. I'd rather move my drills with this, because I'm not going to be, they kind of slid around over here. I'm not going to be damaging anything. Like the point of the brass tip, by pushing my drills around. I watched Presumed Innocent. My father was a big fan of this book, and I know that they came out with a second part of it, and my mother went and bought it for him when it came out, and he was like, I'm not reading that. My father read everything. He's like, I'm not reading that. She's like, what? You love the book. He's like, yeah, it's over. I'm not reading that. So I know that David E. Kelly changed things around. My father probably wouldn't have watched the show. But I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I'll watch him in anything. I don't care. And I like his sister Maggie too. And so I found that I kind of like put the ending together by the ending. I did like him in the role. You could saw where he was a really sharp prosecutor, and that he loved the law. But I don't know. I mean, I kind of put it together at the end. I don't snitch. I don't give any of the endings away. So you can, you don't have to hold your ears, but like I said, I kind of put it together, and I don't know that I really liked the ending. So then it went into Natalie Portman in Lady in the Lake, which I am enjoying. So now I went and got on eBay, I went and got Raintree County, because I love Elizabeth Taylor. If you don't know, I was actually, my husband actually proposed to me on Elizabeth Taylor's birthday, And there are movies that I have not seen of hers, and Raintree County is one of them. And I love her with Montgomery. Clift. Loved A Place in the Sun. Oh my God. If you want to, her movies just stand up. Like A Place in the Sun could be today, you know. What's the other one? A Place in the Sun and Suddenly Last Summer. Oh my gosh, that could be today too. Butterfield 8 could be today. Oh my gosh, I love Lemon. And so I've never seen Raintree County. My husband loves Eva Marie Saint, so she's in it. I love Montgomery Clift. Adore him. He was my screensaver on my phone for, I don't know, years. He was a screensaver on my phone. And love Elizabeth Taylor. And my audio kept going in and out during this section, so I just added some music. It's only for about a minute. Enjoy the music and the diamond painting. Was always about, stop telling me what you feel, Elisa. Tell me what you think. What do you think? And for a while there, you know, I didn't know anything other than what I felt. I was a young girl and I was like emotional and dramatic. And he was like, Elisa, tell me, I know how you feel. Tell me what you think. Make an argument. Let's discuss this. And that's how I learned that my feelings were not to be, used as a tool to get what I want, and my dad too, he learned a lesson too, because my mom was like, you give her whatever you want. You're constantly giving in to her. And, it's causing a problem. I'm her mother and I feel a different way. And you're not backing me and supporting me. And, they had gone to, to see someone to talk about it. My husband spoils my daughter. And he said, you have to be in agreement or she's going to start playing the two of you against each other. I'm making myself sound horrible. I really wasn't, a bad child, but I was scared of everything. I knew that if she said no, he would say yes. And I knew I could rock my dad. And, it was causing a problem. They were young. My parents were young when they got married. My mom had me at 21. So, she was a child too, herself, I mean, I know you don't think of it that way. You're thinking she's 21, but your 20s are a time of self-discovery of who you really are. And, if you don't have that time to explore that, my mother certainly didn't. She was engaged. She was married. She had a baby, so really didn't have the time to really explore who she was. And, she wanted that support from her husband. And, my dad, was like, I can't be drawn into my daughter. I give in to her. She's my little girl. We just had a baby and she's my first. And, so my dad, would be like, don't pout at me. Tell me what you think. Tell me why you think you should have this, why you think you should stay up late, why you think you should watch this show, why you think like my dad would never let me do anything. I'll never forget my girlfriend who took me to the Rolling Stones concert that he knew nothing about. I'm looking at him now in his portrait across the step. I heard him just like, oh, really? My dad passed away in March, and I have his portrait that sits right across from me where I sit in my house. It's like on my stairway. And so my girlfriend, Lorraine, who took me to a Rolling Stone concert because her dad was security at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. And he was like, you girls are going to see a part of history today. And we only knew like one song. What did I know? I had Donny Osmond on my as a poster, and Robbie Benson in my bedroom, and I was wearing Sweet Honesty. What did I know about Rolling Stones, right? And so she wanted to go see Love Story. Lorraine was like a few years older than me. Lorraine wanted to go see Love Story, and I was like, I'm going to go to the movies with Lorraine. My father said, what are you going to go see? I'm like, Love Story. He went, no, you ain't. I'm like, why? He's like, it's adult material. You should not be seeing stuff like that. I don't even know how old I was. I know Lorraine was a little bit older than me. So if she was in 9th grade, I was in 7th. I don't know. So guys, I just found out that the movie was in 1970. So I would have been 8 years old. So Lorraine drugged me to a Rolling Stone concert, and she wanted me to go see Love Story at 8. We're still friends today. We are childhood friends forever. That's the way I grew up. I was like, no, you ain't. You ain't going to go see that movie. I think even when it came onto television, I still think he wouldn't let me watch it. My husband still today marvels at the fact at how sheltered I was. I'm like, that's right. I was sheltered. My father kept me from a lot of stuff, and at the time I didn't like it, but now as I got older, I was appreciative because, most of the girls that were able to go out and do whatever the hell they wanted, they were train wrecks, in a few years. So I was grateful that my dad, just was like, he never fell for that. Well, everybody's doing it. Everybody's going. Why can't I go? He was like, I'm not everybody's parent. I'm yours. But he did let me get away with some things. He did, my mother would have had me in Mary Jane's until I got married. Mary Jane shoes. And I'll never forget my dad. He took me to go get, clothes for the new school year. For the first day of school, and you had to wear, I think I was maybe in like 7th grade, and like all the other girls were getting their hair cut. They were doing like this Dorothy Hamill cut, but with like highlights and or Farrah Fawcett. And I wasn't into the whole hair thing. I was into like the fashion thing. And I was always into shoes. And I remember us going down Passyunk Avenue where all the shops were. And they had a pair of Italian leather shoes in the window. And I went right for them. Now, I don't know how I knew that these were Italian leather. But it was right where you got your school shoes at. But he also had like fashionable shoes. And these were... They had a stacked heel, and they laced, and they were navy blue on one side, and they were cherry red on the other, and they had navy blue laces with a navy blue stacked heel. Well, I thought I was all that and more. My father bought me those shoes, and my mother was like, I told you to get her Mary Jane's. Them Mary Jane's, I hated them. I hated them shoes. They were bright white. I always felt like I had Easter shoes on. I used to walk down the street, and I used to drag my feet on the concrete, just scuff them all up. So thinking maybe she would throw them away. No, she would come over with the Fantastic and spray them and buff them right back up again. Oh, I hated them shoes. So my dad bought me like my first pair of like grown-up shoes. Those patent leather, navy blue and cherry red, tomato red shoes. And I loved them. They said made in Italy in them. I loved those shoes. And then, you know, of course, you think she would have kept me in Mary Jane's for the rest of my life. She still does it. When my son was born, she was buying him baby clothes. I'm like, Mom, he's 10 years old. You know, what are you doing with these clothes? Oh, look at this nipple for Josh. It's so cute. He's 10. He's not wearing Ninja Turtles anymore. So, you know, I don't know. She just had a problem with us growing up, I guess. But, my dad, you know, this whole phenomenon of blue jeans, right? Because it's like, what, the 60s, maybe? Like I was still wearing polyester pants with the stirrups on the bottom. Right? Like, we didn't have fashion. I don't know, all of a sudden fashion hit for me, or maybe we did have it. Maybe I think that blue jeans came into existence with Marilyn Monroe and Giant. I don't know. But all of a sudden, like, I wanted a pair of jeans. I wanted jeans, and it was like Gloria Vanderbilt and Sergio Valente. My parents didn't have money for that, but my dad took me down to 7th Street, where all the clothing stores were, and he bought me my first pair of bell-bottoms jeans, and they hugged at the hips. I can't believe he bought them for me. They hugged at the hip. I'll never forget, my size was 6X. I was young. And they had a rainbow in the back, right above the tailbone. A rainbow. And again, I thought I was all that. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how we got on this topic. How do we get on this topic, people? Somebody help me. Maybe this should have been alive. Then I'm talking about my childhood. Oh, just talking about, you know, the way things are now. I was listening to Abraham Hicks. And it's so funny because now they have her animated, and she's like this little animation that walks around, and it's set to all the different lectures that she gave. And one was called I Want It, and like why you want it. You know, you want it. Like, we all go for the emotional response first. Like, this is why I want it. And she's like, okay, let's dig a little bit deeper about why you want it. And you want it because you're a creator. You want it because you were born to manifest. You want it because you want to see the work that you're putting into achieving the things that you want come to fruition. And she just goes off on this tailspin of, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. Manifest, and why you want what you want, because you want to see that you have this, you know, these, you have the power and you have help from the universe that is going to help you manifest the things that you want. And you know, you want it because you want it because you want it. And she was like, and today more than ever, there's more people more than ever, and we're interconnected more than ever, and you know, we're more people. There's more people, and right now there's more people, and there's more people now. There's more people now. You know, it's like, this is how fast things are changing in our time, how quickly. And why I do a self-care Sunday is because I would love for everyone, including myself. And I think sometimes I do put this stuff in my lineup because it gives me, if I'm doing for others, I'm also benefiting from it. But it's like, you have to do this, Elisa. You have to do this too. And a way to sometimes get things done is to do it for others, and you benefit also. So just the whole idea of like slowing down and being more emotionally regulated. You know, how many of us just like fly off the handle because maybe something ticked us off, but was it really that something that ticked us off? So I did my live. That was fun. I have to do like an homage. I said I was going to do like this homage to Barbie to make up for not allowing her into my childhood. We got on another Barbie topic. I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to do something related to Barbie just to say, I'm sorry, and I didn't accept you in my childhood. But we'll do something now. I'll try and get it. And I really thought about that too. I'm like, Barbie was not a Barbie doll. She was not a doll. She was a woman. She was a woman that was shrunken down into like a pencil. I just couldn't relate to that. It had nothing to do with her physical attributes whatsoever. A baby doll to me was somebody that I carried around like my own little baby. Again, I had a very, very, very big imagination, and I was always writing. My dad would call me Hemingway, which is reminding me that I just watched Hemingway Jones. If any of you love to write like I do, and you love getting that pen, if you're a writer, you know what I'm talking about. You know that how important a pen is. And Hemingway Jones here on YouTube is a lover of fountain pens, and he gives you a walk into the whole journal process and using a fountain pen. And so yesterday I was watching him, and he unveiled, had no idea that Taylor Swift did a fountain pen for the Tortured Poets Society. And how brilliant to do a pen. And I thought, well, I'm going to take his recommendation. And he's like, the first thing that you should know about this pen is that it is a value. It is $15. It has a wood barrel. The branding is very nice on it. It had a nice flow. It had nice pickup. Once he put the cartridge in, it started to suck right up into the vein of the nib. And, he liked it. He's like, for $15, absolutely. And maybe it'll turn you into a lover of fountain pens. And like I said, if you're a writer, and you love to write, get yourself a really good pen. So my dad used to call me Hemingway when I was a kid, because I was always walking around. I had this big imagination. I was always writing stories. Here we go. The pinks, are they all in? Let's take a look at this whole border here. So pretty. So many ABs in this canvas, and they mainly focus on the border and in the flowers, which is really, really nice. There's still some more ABs that have to be set. We set the green, we set one of the pinks, and this is a very lighter shade than this pink. So 2 of the pinks, and next is going to be I believe, no, that's not. Oh, I thought this was going to be an AB. It's not. I thought the white was an AB. No, it's not. Well, anyway, we'll continue closing up this border here. I'm really curious to know more about the painter whose art I decided to reproduce, because every time I do one of these master painters, I really go do a deep dive. It seems like I really get really interested in the artist. So I pulled this piece of plastic off, but I keep it on the side because if I use it and run my finger over it, I can really feel, oh, here's a little bump. Did you hear that snap in? You hear that snap in? I can feel where the drills are sticking up. Here's one. Very good. And then what I do is I take one of my aligners, and again, I leave the plastic to use with it because the plastic gives it a little bit of a slip. It makes it easier to glide. And if you're aligning your drills, and not going directly onto the canvas, you're not pulling up any glue from underneath, which can get attached to your drills. It gets attached to your aligner, so you don't want to be creating any kind of a mess. So that was like a little tip that I learned by mistake one day. Didn't have much. Is this sticking up? Yeah. Maybe I moved it out of place. I don't have much gapping. I really do like the Mukas from Diamond Painting Shop. I am getting the next one, which is Winter. It should be coming this week from Diamond Art Club, just so I can do a comparison. I don't think in the slightest I'm going to be disappointed. There's a bunch of green ABs I forgot up here. I don't think in the slightest way I'm going to be disappointed because, hey, it's Diamond Art Club. But I do want to see the rendering, and this is a different rendering. I think it's smaller. It's more on Winter, the season Winter, the female Winter, and it's the face is pretty. It looks really pretty, but I am going to compare it because I love winter women in winter scenes because I was married in winter. So I will do the Winter from Diamond Paint Shop, and I will do the Winter from Diamond Art Club. I'm losing my AB drills. I lost enough with Rico. And I do like that they're in two different poses for Winter. There are two different poses for Winter. One is where she is squatting down, and the other one is she's standing up, and that's the one from Diamond Art Club. I missed some green ABs up here. Childhood trauma. Childhood trauma with my mother not wanting me to be in Mary Jane's the rest of my life. Oh my gosh. And now, guess what? Isn't it still our favorite shoe as women? I mean, really, those Mary Janes. Put one there, one here. Rico has turned out to be, because Rico is another kit that I am working on. Cynthia messaged me when I put my post up yesterday that there was no damage done to the part where the paper had stuck. And Cynthia messaged me. She's like, "You're just flying through this canvas. You're diamond painting so quickly." And I said, it really is an enjoyable kit. I mean, it really is a kit that you can move very quickly. The drills are very, very nice. And, you know, it's not really color blocking, but it's not really confetti. It's like right in the middle. Very nice balance. And you do, I was like, I am kind of moving through this really quickly. I'm actually taking bigger pieces to finish that are bigger than 10 by 10. So I'm kind of doing 2 blocks, whereas before I would just do 1. I'm doing 2 blocks together. And, you know, in an hour I'm getting them done, which is really nice. And that's what happens when the drills are nice. And I think also too, it was just the boost that I needed with that color. With the new kit that I'm having done, I don't know if I said this already because I don't know what I filmed from that and from here, but with the new kit, there's not one black drill, not one. I had to go look at the legend. I'm like, oh my God, there's no black in here. Unbelievable. So what am I going to do next? I have 3 different trays of drills out, going to 3 different canvases. I have Rico out, I have Night's Rest out, and I have, who's that? Oh, I have drill trays everywhere. Bud? Yeah, Bud too, he's out too. And I still have a Woman in a Hat with Feather Boa, she's out too. I really have to tighten up that class that I want to have for confetti. So I grabbed a few more colors out because I have some time yet. on this videotaping. It'll be nice to see this top part done. I don't know if I'm going to continue with this because today is what? The 26th, and Summer with the Masters ends on the 31st. Is there 31 days in July? I think so. So I'm not sure. I know that I am going to put it away soon if it's not done, because I want to move into other things that I'm doing. I actually spent some time again with Canadian Diamond Dot Witch. She was having a live yesterday, and I was like, great, I'll join in, because I was telling her during my live that I also still have it on the books. I haven't forgotten that I want to do a creator section where I speak to creators and how they create. And I find that she has something very unique. She does a lot of diamond painting with, you know, she has usually rock music in the background that she's listening to, but I like it. Her little icon, she has headphones on. She's like, oh, I'm known for my headphones. I'm like, I love it. So I was talking to her about coming on board to do a, you know, I was really going to call it Where Women Create, but I was interested in having Dante too, because he's such a great songwriter, and his whole process and what he comes up with really catchy tunes that I'm like, he did a really long song for Philadelphia, and I was not bored in the least listening to it. Like, it wasn't like, oh, this is too long. This isn't, like, he did like a Bohemian Rhapsody, you know? I mean, it was just so good the way he put it all together, and I was interested in his process. So I just think I'm going to name it Where Creators Create, and have people on that want to share where they create, how they create, what their process is, if they have any sort of things that they do to prepare for like a routine, sort of like, this is what I have to do before I sit down and create. Like, my one girlfriend writes books, and she's like, everything to her needs to be in place. It has to be where she it has to be the right day, the right temperature. She wants to be sitting, she romanticizes the whole thing, is what she's doing, whether she realizes it or not. She's got to be near a window. She needs to be, you know, drinking a hot cup of tea, and, you know, she needs to have everything, wants to be very cozy when she creates. Okay. So that's her process for writing, and she writes books. She writes children's books. So, you know, that puts her in a frame of mind to, you know, like, what is your atmosphere like? Do you do like things like that? Do you create an atmosphere for yourself? Do you have things around you that inspire you? Like, I have on my desk, I have a Marie Antoinette that I made, and I have a head of David, which I love. He holds all my watercolor brushes, and I just found my stamp of David, the head of David. I love this stamp, and it's really fine. It's like dotted, and it gives like almost like a newspaper print kind of. It looks like a photograph. I love this. So this is up on my desk. So I have things that I like, things that reflect me on my desk. Here's my Marie Antoinette. I made her, and you know, I have things on my desk. I have my timepiece. I have a beautiful vase. I like to use things that I can, you know, I have my mother-in-law's ashtray from the 60s. I'm like, I said to my husband, why are these in your room? You don't smoke, I don't smoke. Let's find something to do with these. And at one time they were his and hers, like little jewelry catchers for us. He would put his rings and stuff in there, and I would use the other one for mine. But then we got bored of that, and I'm like, I'm going to use this just to catch my little, you know, trash from diamond painting, so I don't have to keep getting up to empty out this tray here. I think I even lost it. It wasn't there. I don't know where it is now. It's probably stuck in some diamond painting storage container. I don't know where it is. It might be in the drawer. Who knows? So, but it would always like pop out when I would turn it over or I'd be afraid that it was going to pop out, and I would actually pop it out when I'm emptying out my drills. So, like this to me, even though the creative element of diamond painting has been done for me, it's mapped out. The colors have been chosen. They're ready to go. They've been kitted up. I really don't have to think. I still like to have things around me that make me sometimes I light my incense. I have that behind me. I have my little genie jars with all my other little past palettes of colors that hold diamond drills. So like when I get done with this kit, I'm going to take a few of each drill and I'm going to put it inside one of these genie bottles that I have that are sitting behind me. So I'll show you. I can tell you that that's the Winter Fox that's in there. And sometimes I look at these for inspiration and for like a color palette idea. So I have that behind me. I have my incense behind me. I like to have things around me that I've created that when I need to take a break too, that inspire me as far as writing, or as far as sometimes I'm just sketching and doodling and stuff like that. I have my glass pens over here that I brought from upstairs. I brought them down and put them near my desk because sometimes I just like to journal thoughts. And after spending time with Canadian Diamond Dot Witch, I couldn't participate because I had someone coming over and they were here. My husband was here, and the guy was here, the contractor was here to look at our fan upstairs. Like I have a big exhaust fan that's which would be like an attic area of the house, and he was coming over to fix the fan, and they were just making a racket, so I had to turn my mic off. I couldn't participate in what they were talking about, which was driving me crazy because I really wanted to. And but I loved the flow. Like she had an open forum where she could have gave you the link and you would have popped on, and you could diamond paint along with me, and I could see what you're diamond painting. I'm like, look, I really like the flow of this of the way. He's almost looked around to me for a minute. I really like the flow of this get together, of this live. It was really, really nice. I really had a good time. I will do another live with her again. I thought it was really cool, and you could tell like they all know each other, and they all are part of a community, and it was really, really very nice, and it inspired me that this is what I wanted to create here, and it's time for me to take the next step. I love that some of you know each other and you talk to each other in comments, but I think it would be so nice if we had like maybe even a Saturday morning pajama party to get together and all diamond paint together. The cooler months are coming in. It might be easier for some of you because you know what? It's summertime. Everybody's outside. Everybody's catching that light. They want the last rays of the sun. And I get it, pretty soon the nights are going to be getting longer and the days are going to be getting shorter. And this might be a great time for us to spend time together, where, we don't get outside as much. It's a beautiful day here in Philly today. It's about 69 degrees. It's just incredible after the heat that we went through just a few like last week, but it's coming back. They've already warned us. They're like, enjoy your Friday because it's going to be beautiful, but it's coming back. I'm like, oh dear God. Did he have to tell us that it was coming back? Yeah, I guess he did. I'm gonna have to fill this up. I'm out of this color. But I'm wondering, like, where are my Where did I put, because I have 5 different trays out now. Where did I put my extra drills for night's rest? I have no idea where they are. Oh, I think they're on the side. I have another little desk over here that's holding my glass pens and holding my couple of my art journals. I have to stop watching these YouTube videos where people create these art journals and everybody's like Hobonichi. I'm like, what's that? What's that? Everybody loves these Hobonichi journals where you can from what I understand, they hold all different types of mediums, and the book expands as the journal gets bigger. So like I have so much ephemera that I could, you know, really like stretch my creativity and, you know, use it to do my art journal. One more color and we're done this border. I'll go with that. Let me see if I can find this color. There it is. Right there. And then we do Self-Care Sunday. And I have to tell you guys, thank you for the lovely comments that you gave my husband. He was so touched by all of your comments. And I said to him, John, you know, I'm hesitant because I feel like people tune in for you and they want to see you. And there were a few creators that I did follow, and then as soon as they got like super popular, they're not that I'm super popular by a stretch, but as soon as they got super popular, it seemed like their partners were coming on and their partners were, you know, kind of almost taking over. And I was like, you know what? I didn't tune in. I tuned in for her because I'm interested in her creative process. I'm not interested in like her husband in the background who's doing her filming, who's now, you know, I don't know. It did like there were certain husbands and wives that I just didn't see that were really jiving, and they were trying to maybe do this together and it wasn't really melding, and I stopped following them. But I was like, I said to John, you know, I really appreciate that, you know, we'll sit down and he'll be like, well, what do you want me to do? And, you know, I cannot wait for him to retire so that he could start his YouTube channel. And I think all of you are going to probably subscribe because he has a great voice. He has a great presence. He's very knowledgeable, and you want to listen when he speaks. And I just love that we have like really good conversations, and we that we can do this together. And like, he wasn't the type to like take over, or like I did say, well, just read this and like tell me what you think about it. And he was like, okay, but he read only the quotes, but I let him go because I felt as though I invited him. It was his style of reading. He really didn't miss much. You know, what he was giving you as his idea. And I really liked that he also gravitated towards the quotes. And I do too. And I love that about Julie Cameron. She puts these quotes in. And, you know, I'll do a refresh on that because this week, tomorrow is the last day. Is it? That's the end of the book. We did 6 chapters, and I'm so, you know, happy that I did this with all of you and you participated, and maybe you learned something about yourself and your listening style. And I said to John, you know, we talked about books that you've read me that have changed my life, and a lot of what I do here is share with you things that changed my life. So here's the border, and then I'll close this out, but here's the border. of this, and I'll give you a final shot when I hang her back up if she decides that she's going to want to be hung up and not, you know, be flopping all over the place. As she does, because she's getting so heavy now, she's being pulled down. But I will give you guys a final shot. Maybe I'll even diamond paint a little bit more. I just don't want to keep you guys too long. And I'll tell you just a little bit in closing about, you know, what I had for John. I asked him, I'm like, you read me of missing persons, and it is the tagline of my channel is create the world that you want to live in, and that is exactly what missing persons is about. It's about creating the world that you want to live in. And I'm like, would you read this to my subscribers, because I really think that they would enjoy this book, and especially you reading it. And I was going to diamond paint and then do a voiceover, but I think what I'll do, and I'll set the camera off so you'll be able to see him reading, you'll be able to see me diamond painting, and just how we interact with each other. I would love for him to do that. I think I asked him, I don't know, he doesn't really ever say no to me, but he's my dad. He's my dad. He's very much like my dad. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you, Summer with the Masters. I believe that this is going to be the last filming for Summer with the Masters. Maybe I will come back on the 31st just to show you what I have done, and it may be you know, just a little wrap up of Alphonse Mucha. So maybe I will do that. So I will see you tomorrow for Self-Care Sunday. I will see you Monday for the unveiling of the custom kit from Dreamer Design, and I will see you during the week for the Summer with the Masters wrap up. Look at this guy. Hurry up. He's got the life. Where is he? There he is. Look. He's got the life. And there's Bud in the background. How cute. 2 tabbies in that shot. Have a nice one, guys. Enjoy your, I was going to say Saturday. Enjoy your Friday. TGIF. Let's get it going. Bye.